And we need to get to the bottom of it. There are stories that start as whispers and then echo through locker rooms, front offices, and the hearts of fans. This is one of them. You've heard the rumors, you've seen the headlines, but what if I told you that the real story behind the $250,000 fine handed down to the Atlanta Falcons and the $100,000 personal loss to defensive coordinator Jax Ulbrich is much more nuanced than anyone is letting on? And while this scandal dies down, Falcons fans have another reason to be excited, a major roster move involving Drake London that could define the team's offensive future. Buckle up, and be sure to hit the like button to stay informed. This isn't just about a fine. This is about a moment that mixed bad judgment, modern technology, and a prank gone wrong, all happening during the NFL draft. Jax Ulbrich, known for his rigorous defensive coaching, probably didn't realize that leaving his iPad unattended at home would cost him six figures. But that's exactly what happened. His son, Jax Ulbrich, had access to the iPad, probably because he knew the password. And instead of browsing YouTube or watching movies like his dad, Jax had other plans. A prank call. But not just any prank call, a prank call that targeted Shedeur Sanders, the star quarterback and son of Hall of Famer Deion Sanders. The fallout? Swift. Brutal. Public. The NFL doesn't play around with confidential draft material. Leaking information, even unintentionally, sets off alarms around the league. And while this wasn't espionage or sabotage, the fact remains, sensitive pre-draft details made their way into the wrong hands, and worse, into a viral moment. That's why the Falcons were docked $250,000. And Ulbrich, a seasoned coach with a solid reputation, had to swallow a $100,000 mistake that wasn't directly his, but was tied to his household. And if you think $100,000 is just pocket change in the NFL, think again. Defensive coordinators don't earn quarterback money. Most hover between $1 to $2 million a year, meaning this penalty hit like a linebacker on a blindside blitz. Jax Ulbrich may have thought it was a harmless joke, but that joke now has long-term consequences. He might be mowing lawns until his grandkids graduate and paying for his own college dues this semester. But here's where things get even more real. The Falcons didn't fight it. No fiery press release, no "we're being unfairly targeted" sound bites. Instead, the organization accepted the punishment. They owned it. More than that, the Ulbrich family is now reportedly participating in community service initiatives alongside the team, turning a mistake into a teachable moment. One can only imagine the visual, the son of the defensive coordinator picking up trash on I-85 like Ricky Bobby's kids in Talladega Nights. It's humbling. It's accountability. It's Atlanta. Now, some voices in the sports media world, like fantasy guru Matthew Berry, blew the situation out of proportion. He called for heads to roll, painting the entire Ulbrich family as co-conspirators. But let's keep perspective. No jobs were lost. No draft picks stolen. No careers destroyed. It was a prank call, poorly timed, directed at a quarterback who's already polarizing. If you're honest with yourself, you've probably pulled worse stunts as a teenager. And we all know, if this happened to any player other than Shedeur Sanders, the outrage wouldn't have hit the same decibel. Which brings us to the undercurrent that nobody wants to say aloud. This story exploded because of who it targeted. Some believe there's a protective bubble around the Sanders name. Others argue that Shedeur's draft slide was a sensitive issue, and any perceived disrespect became magnified. Is there bias? Maybe. But this wasn't a racially motivated act, nor a malicious hack. It was an immature decision by a kid who got too comfortable with his dad's technology. That doesn't make it excusable, but it doesn't make it catastrophic either. So, Falcons fans, what do you think? Was the punishment fair? Should this be a bigger deal, or has the media turned a spark into a wildfire? Drop your thoughts in the comments. While the Falcons managed the fallout of Prank Call Gate, they quietly made a move that sends a thunderous message about the direction of this franchise. Drake London, yes, the same receiver who's been grinding through quarterback chaos, overlooked nationally, and still putting up impressive numbers, had his fifth-year option picked up. But here's where it gets juicy. That might just be the appetizer. The real play? A potential multi-year extension that could reshape not only Atlanta's receiving core but how we build around our offensive stars moving forward. First, the basics. The Falcons officially exercised London's fifth-year option, locking him in for the 2026 season at $16.8 million. It's a fully guaranteed one-year deal, clear-cut, black and white, rare for NFL contracts. If he's on the roster, he gets paid. Cut him? You still pay. Trade him? That number rolls over to the next team. But let's be honest, none of those things are happening. Because Drake London isn't just any wide receiver. He's becoming the wide receiver in Atlanta. Coming off a career year in 2023, posting personal bests in receptions, targets, yards, and touchdowns, London proved that when you give him a competent quarterback, he produces like a top 10 WR. This wasn't just a flash. It was confirmation. Falcons fans knew it. The front office knew it. And now, it's time to act like it. Because what happens next might define the Arthur Smith-less era more than any coordinator hiring or draft pick ever could. There's a growing chorus calling for the Falcons to extend Drake London now. Not next offseason. Not after he blows up in 2024. Now. And here's why. You wait too long, and suddenly you're the Bengals scrambling to overpay Jamar Chase. Or the Cowboys hesitating with CD Lamb and watching the price tag rise week after week. It's NFL Economics 101. Secure your stars before they reset the market. Let's do the math. Say the Falcons offer London a 4-year deal worth $114 million. That's $28.5 million annually. That's not just big money. That's top 10 receiver money. It would place him just ahead of Jalen Waddle. And for a player like London, that's fair value. Offer him $60 million guaranteed, and you give him security and a team that believes in him as its WR1. That's leverage. Now imagine you wait. London pops off in 2024, 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns, all-pro buzz. Suddenly, $28.5 million turns into $31, maybe $33 million per year. Now you're entering top 5 WR territory. Is he worth that? Maybe. But wouldn't you rather lock him down now and save your cap space for the next core piece? But let's flip the script. What if London says no? What if he bets on himself, believing that another dominant season could earn him an even bigger purse? That's the bet. And, honestly, it's a smart one. But the Falcons can still play it cool. You make the offer. You show your commitment. If he leaves, you leave him, just not for an inflated deal after the market turns again. Here's what makes this story so compelling. London hasn't even had tenure. Not once. Think about it, Marcus Mariota, Desmond Ridder, Kirk Cousins half season. And yet, he's produced. And yet, he's been that guy. That says it all. What if we finally give him a 17-game quarterback who can hit the long ball, win third downs, and feed him in the red zone? What if Michael Penix Jr. is that quarterback, or Kirk Cousins returns healthy and sharp? London becomes more than a revelation. He becomes a franchise cornerstone. And make no mistake, the rest of the league is watching. Quietly. Teams love to take advantage of mishandled situations. Do you think a contender in need of a WR wouldn't go all in on London if he hit the market in 2 years? This is chess, not checkers. The smart move is to lock up your point guards before it becomes a bidding war. Should Atlanta offer that 4-year, $114 million extension to Drake London this offseason? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're as excited about this team's future as we are, like, subscribe for more in-depth Falcons coverage, and ring the bell so you don't miss a thing. Go Falcons!